Whoa! I've had too much caffeine today. I'm charging the batteries on my XT4 over here. Man, almost knocked the computer off the table there. That would have been lovely, huh? It's alright, I got another one. Fujifilm 2020. By the way, I'm going to head to Florida at the end of this week. I'm going to take my GFX 100 and my XT4. Let me make a very bold statement, even though I got Nikon tattooed in my hand. I also got Fujifilm tattooed in my hand. Longtime lover of Nikon. D850 is the best DSLR ever made, undeniably so. I mean, you have to stick by that. It's probably the last great DSLR made, too. But other than lacking a tilt-shift lens for the GFX system, it needs to be a tilt-shift lens for the Fujifilm X series. And Fujifilm is coming out with a 300mm f4 and a 500mm f/6 for the X mount system, which they need and they know that they need. I got 99% of everything I ever want to do completely covered with the X mount and the GFX cameras. I can, and this doesn't get me anything, Fujifilm doesn't pay me, but I can happily say that I have, more than any other person on this earth, sold more, and by sold doesn't mean, you know, I've personally sold it, but I've sold more GFX cameras than anybody else. Sold more GFX cameras than anybody else on this earth. People are very happy. Honest to God, I've not had a single complaint from anybody. I've spilled out every little nuance that Fujifilm doesn't point out in their user manual and that you don't read from any of these other know-nothing talking heads on these photography forums, because, by the way, the link to my free Fujifilm book is below. What Fujifilm needs to do for 2020 or 2021, and of course the XH2 is coming out. I'll tell you, hardcore fact, and I already know the sensors, the Sony IMX, what is it, 4361, I'm probably wrong on the number on that. It's a 43 megapixel sensor, crop sensor for the Fujifilm XH2 that is coming out next year. They may even introduce it later this year. I don't know on that, that's pure speculation. The XH2 is undeniably coming. Fujifilm desperately needs to come out with a tilt shift lens. There's more than a few things that Fujifilm's listened to me on. They changed, and I heard from somebody in Japan directly, they changed the lens cap. I have a Nikon lens cap on here right now. They changed the lens cap on their lenses because I complained that they fell off too easy, and I was 100% right. They do fall off too easy, and they changed that a couple, 2.5 years ago. I also told them that Fujifilm, that they need a clickable diopter adjustment wheel. In other words, you need to pull it out and adjust it so you don't accidentally turn it by, you know, rubbing up against it or in your camera back. Fujifilm listened on that. They listened on a few other things that I said. Fujifilm. And you don't have to worry about this on GFX lenses because they're a lot thicker, yeah? Even though they're injection molded plastic, these thin tabs, I am more careful with my camera gear than anybody. Really, I am. I'm not one of those people that's like throwing and slam banging stuff around. I have already broken two lens hoods for my 50 to 140 millimeter, and I am way gentler than most people are. Now, if someone as gentle as me, and notice how fragile they are, already broken two of them. I've broken 5 lens hoods already, then that means people out there are suffering more than I am. Fujifilm needs to do what Canon needs to upgrade. Fujifilm needs to upgrade their lens hood injection systems. And this is what it is. They need to upgrade to what Canon and Nikon do. It is a glass fill. It's the same reason we actually have rebar in bridges, where it's concrete, what it has steel bars, so it actually has the strength and the flexibility. This is just injection molded plastic, and especially these very thin, tab inserts back here that actually lock onto the front of it. It's way too fragile. Fujifilm needs to upgrade their lens hood menu, and it would not take, I know the machinery required it would not take serious capital to retool to do glass fill plastic or glass-filled nylon injection. That's the reason why Nikon and Canon lens hoods are tougher than woodpecker lips. And you know, this is not like a serious issue or anything like that, but Fujifilm should invest in upgrading their lens hood injection molding system with glass or nylon fill. Oh, also too, and that's Fujifilm's newest speedlight. I was the only person saying this for years, and I harped on Fujifilm about it. I said this is the best speedlight. It's very compact. It's perfect for the Fujifilm system. Fujifilm needs to partner up with Nissan. Instead, they partnered with Metz, and that kind of, even though it was a good flash, and I got 2 of them, it went over like a lead balloon. And then the Nissan speedlights, even though it's a rebranded Nissan, Fujifilm partnered up with them. And they are expensive, but they're also, too, worth it. The only reason everybody on Earth is buying a Godox speedlight is because they're cheap and they work. Let's face it, right? They're cheap and they work. But there's nothing. Now, the Nissan speedlight that Fujifilm has gone in joint partnership with Nissan on is infinitely more compact, basically almost a third the size of any Godox speedlight, like a 685 or this sucker right here, which is basically the same. It's basically a third the size, but the same power, and it has more functionality. And also, too, the wireless trigger is a lot better and a lot better built. The Godox X1 trigger is flimsy. It has 3 design flaws. I love the hell out of Godox. But the Nissan remote radio trigger is a lot better. So Fujifilm listened to me on that. I was the person that was screeching that for years and years. And they must have been listening because Fujifilm has partnered up with Nissan for their ongoing speedlights. I know this for a fact that that bigwigs at Fuji are talking about and making plans for a monochrome. I got confirmation on that months ago. How far it is in their work, in their planning, or you know, how you know, far along they are, I cannot speculate. I know for a fact from a couple gurus that I know on sensor fabrication that you just can't. You cannot shut down sensor production run, you know, to spit out, say, 20,000 monochrome sensors. The color filter rate that has to go. Literally, when they make a sensor run, I found out, because there's so, you know, these fantastical clean rooms that cost billions and billions of dollars to make, you cannot shut it down. So it is a major cost expenditure, even just to produce, serious cost expenditure, to produce 20, 30,000 sensors. So it's not, you know, that's not the issue. It's, you know, they have to order X number of thousands and thousands of them. I don't know what the thousands of number, there's a lot of thousands. But I also know for a fact, and here's something that I know better than Fujifilm. Let me say that arrogantly because I'm 100% right. I knew when the GFX 100 came out, I was one of the first people to test it. And why not? I've sold more GFX cameras than anybody else on this earth. I've done endless amounts of free tech support. You're welcome, Fujifilm. I just got done doing free tech support for a very, very famous photographer right before a very huge shoot. Because he has a GFX 100. He's a big medium format shooter. He prints really big. He's a very famous shooter. What was I getting off track here? Sorry. Yeah, on the GFX 100, there we go. Fujifilm did not know this. They thought that, you know, a few thousand people would order the GFX 100 because it's expensive. Well, even though it's $10,000, and I have a GFX 100, it's what I'm taking with me to Florida here at the end of this week. I have a GFX 50R, and I used to have 50S, but I don't need 3 GFXs. I sold it off. I knew Fujifilm, because there was a huge shortage of GFX 100s. Fujifilm was not anticipating a super huge demand. I got a info from the inside of Fujifilm that Fujifilm was knocked off guard at how many people ordered that expensive. It's not expensive, actually, especially for medium format, that camera. Fujifilm, I know for a fact, at least I'm 99% certain, really has no idea, or really doesn't truly know, how many people will order a monochrome camera if they come out. And they don't have to make a new camera. You don't get this, folks, okay? Other than changing around some of the menus and some of the image processing algorithms and whatnot, Other than them having to order X number of tens of thousands of monochrome sensors without a color filter, Fujifilm will sell the hell and gone out of that camera. The only options out there are an obnoxious, I keep checking the battery levels on my XT4 batteries over here. The monochrome Leica is just hell and gone expensive. So Fujifilm, I'm really totally certain they don't have a clue. No offense to Fujifilm, they don't have a clue how many of those damn cameras that they will sell. And I myself will sell. By sell, I mean not sell directly. I will sell the hell out of them. I mean, I will sell the hell and gone. I mean, I will be over that camera when it becomes available like stink on poo. The one thing that I've lusted for ages is an affordable medium format digital camera. And I was the first one to pounce on it. I've been thumping the door on GFX. I got GFX tattooed right here on my hand. That's how much I love the GFX system, okay? I don't care what you think about me. I mean, I'm not connected to Fujifilm, you know? They don't tell me what to say. I say what I want to say. I love that camera system. To round out the Fujifilm beat everybody to it, basically. Now, they wouldn't beat everybody to the monochrome, but Leica is just obnoxiously expensive and unobtainable. Now, there is plenty of medium format digital cameras out there, but they were obnoxiously expensive and really unattainable. Fujifilm made those obtainable for every man. I mean, like the GFX 50R on sale, which is my favorite camera of all time. On sale, it's only $3,500. I mean, that's the cost of a freaking beat up Nikon D4S, roughly, or a beat up Nikon D5. It's cheap for medium format. Fujifilm should do the same thing with a monochrome, and they could stick it in any body. They could stick it in an XE3, they could stick it in an XT30, they could call it the XT30M for monochrome. Oh my God, if Fujifilm ordered, 40,000 sensors, monochrome, yeah? Because you have to make X number of thousands, because you just can't shut down the sensor run, as I learned from experts. They would sell the hell out of that thing. I would guarantee you, I myself would buy 2 alone. Oh my God. Oh, Fujifilm I'm certain Fujifilm doesn't have a clue how many of those they was. Well, we got black and white profiles and all that. So that's not the same at all. People that have seen images from a true monochrome camera, I mean, it's just, whoa. It's not the same at all. People don't get it. I tell them, why is it different? It's like, oh, that's why it's different. It's like, yeah, that's why it's different. So I hope Fujifilm makes a monochrome. I know they're talking about it. I don't know how far along they are or how seriously they're, doing things with it. But I'm pretty sure it's coming. And by pretty sure, I mean pretty damn sure that it's coming. And I can't wait for a monochrome Fujifilm. So next year will be... it's good that the XH2 didn't come out in 2020 because this is the year from hell, right? My profits are down by basically 50%. Everybody's suffering by and large. So it's awesome that Fujifilm did not come out with the XH2 in 2020. The year that will suck in infamy for all time. Anyway, I hope you like this video. If you do, let me know. Click the link below. Download my free Fujifilm book. Yeah, and wait for it. Fujifilm.